Microservices encapsulate basic operations that can be used in an IRODS procedure. Policies control procedures that manipulate files, collections, metadata, user properties, storage properties, and collection properties. The procedures are composed by chaining together microservices. Each microservice implements a basic operation. By providing modular operations, complex workflows can be assembled. The procedures are saved as a rule file ending in the text.r. An index of over 300 microservices provided in the IRODS data grid can be found in the Microservice Workbook 4.0 Appendix D. The index is sorted into categories for core operations, basic operations supported by the IRODS framework, collection operations, operations to create, move, delete collections, data object, operations to create, move, delete, replicate files, string manipulation, operations to create, transform, split, and subset strings, workflow operations, operations to manage a workflow, do algebra and math, messaging, operations to send out-of-band messages, services, operations to administer the data grid, ICAT metadata, operations to access the metadata catalog, URL, operations to interact with web services. The Microservice Workbook 4.0 provides information about every microservice, including a list of the input and output parameters and an example of how the microservice is used. The descriptions include the parameters used with each invocation of the microservice, a list of the input, bracket in, and output, bracket out parameters, the type of each parameter is given, strmst denotes a string, intmst denotes an integer. Note that status returns are typically integers. Call inpmst denotes an IRODS logical path name to a collection. Key-val pair mst is a structure containing keyword value pairs. Exec command out mst is a structure containing the status of a command execution and the standard out standard error output. The descriptions also include the meaning of each parameter. An associated example rule shows how the microservice can be invoked and the output that is generated by the microservice. A rule to create a collection is shown here. The rule starts with 8 comment cards that explain the input parameters and output. The rule calls a microservice, MSI call create, to perform the collection creation. A second microservice is called WriteLine to print the results to standard out. After the rule body enclosed in the braces, the input parameters are defined. The output parameter ruleExecOut specifies that the output results written to standard out will be copied to the screen. This has one input parameter for the variable star path, which defines the path name to a collection. The microservice MSI call create has 2 input parameters. The first, star path, was specified as an input parameter and defines the whole path name of the collection that will be created. The second parameter is a flag that defines whether or not missing parent collections will be automatically created. A value of 0 means that the parent collections must already exist. The microservice has one output parameter, star status. If the value is greater than or equal to 0, the rule executed successfully. Note that the star status parameter is an integer. If the value is negative, the operation failed. Every operation in the IRODS rule language is cast as a microservice. This includes operations that perform mathematics, add, subtract, divide, algebra, min, max, exponent, log, floor, ceiling, queries, the select command, conditional test, if, then, or else, and loops, while, for each. A workflow is a sequence of operations that use variables or constants as input and return results in variables. More than 300 microservices have been created to support functions required by data management applications. Take 7 minutes to complete exercise 41. Write a rule that creates a collection. Try creating a collection where all The subdirectories and the path name already exist. Try creating a collection where a subdirectory in the path name is missing. Please load your rule file into the lifetime library in the subcollection class INLS624 by the end of today's class. Homework assignment number 6 is due next Monday at noon. Create policy templates for 3 protected data policies. Decide on what is needed to verify each protected data policy. Note that many of the protected data policies are about verification. Examples of protected data policies are in Chapter 6 of the Policy Templates Workbook.